We're bringing it back.
We're bringing it back.
We decided that it's time to bring it back.
It's time. We're going to bring it back.
And you may be wondering, what are you bringing back?
What are we bringing back?
We're bringing SHMILY back.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Celebrate Your Date podcast.
It's that time of month again.
Yep. We're Mike and Missy Bursuch, and on the 8th of the month, we drop a new podcast with marriage help.
That's right.
Creative ideas, tips, tricks,
maybe
mistakes.
A few bloopers or something.
Yeah, whatever. Mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
We're here just simply to help. We're here to give you some encouragement. We've been married almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years. Pretty
and
close.
You know, we've been through a lot in our marriage.
We have. A lot of good, a lot of bad.
A lot of good, a lot of bad, but it's all been helpful. And so we just want to help you. Hey, if you find this content helpful, what do? You're
going to share it with your friends on your social media.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, subscribe, share.
Yep.
Check us out on social media, Facebook, Instagram.
Tell everybody you know. You know, we've had a lot of fun so far.
This has been a blast.
This is a few months. It's April. We've done this for a few months now. And you know what? We had our first giveaway in March.
We did. We did a social media giveaway on Instagram. We gave away a $50 gift card, and no, that did not come from corporate sponsors.
No, it just came from us.
It came out of our pocket.
That's right.
We're just,
But you know what? It was fun. And Tracy Counts was the one that won. So hopefully,
Tracy Counts, Tracy and Jason.
Yes, Tracy and Jason.
They won.
Yeah.
They live in the Midwest.
I think so.
And hopefully you guys have had a great time spending $50
and celebrating a little bit.
Celebrate on us. That's pretty cool.
So who knows when the next giveaway is? So you might want to stay tuned.
And if you missed the giveaway, there's a reason. It's because you're not on Instagram and you're not following us. So just do that. Even if you just set up an account and just follow us, that's cool.
That's cool. But you know what? They're probably wondering.
Wondering. We're bringing SHMILY back.
That's right.
You have probably wondered. Now, if you've been following us, you may know what this means already.
Yeah.
But most of you probably don't. And so before we tell you what it's going to mean, because we want you to hang around, tell a little story about it.
Yes.
What is it?
So probably around 2004, maybe, we were kind of going through a rough patch in our marriage. We're just going to be honest. We're going to be vulnerable here. And so we started doing a devotional by James and Shirley Dobson.
Yep.
And it was called Nightlight for Couples.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the description to where if you want to grab this devotion, we started doing it, and this is where we got this idea.
Yeah. And so every night we would take turns reading one of the devotions. Even if we didn't want to, we did it because we knew it was good for us. And there was this little devotion, and it was written by a granddaughter who was watching the relationship between her grandparents.
Right.
And, you know, she was saying how she was a little skeptical of love and didn't know, but she really thought that her grandparents had a real love.
Yeah.
And she watched them all growing up leaving little notes or little drawings, and you know, they would leave SHMILY for each other, and maybe in the sugar, or they would leave a note on the kitchen table. So she was kind of telling this whole story, and even until the grandmother passed, the grandfather was still leaving her a love note with SHMILY.
Yeah. And so we kind of was like, oh, what is it? Well, in the devotion, obviously they tell you, so you're thinking SHMILY, it's just a word, SHMILY. Well, it stands for something.
It does.
And it stands for see how much I
love you.
See how much I love you. And it really got us. And honestly, we were in a rough patch in our marriage. We weren't having, again, a whole lot of fun in what was going on. But at the end of the day, we were committed to one another. We wanted to make it work. And so we decided, the two of us, we said, we're going to start doing this. Yeah. And it was so cool because this story was one of those where the grandmother and grandfather's love, that, they started seeing all these things and it's the evidence of that. And so we started leaving SHMILY notes for one another.
We did. It was so fun. I remember one time writing with lipstick on the toilet seat. So when he lifted up the toilet seat, he saw SHMILY.
Yeah. And I mean, we would do that on our bedroom mirrors for one another, or, when we'd go on a trip, you'd open up your laptop or open up your suitcase and there would be one in one of your, whatever. I mean, you just leave these little notes, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But what we mean by bringing SHMILY back is bringing the love back. Bringing the love back. And let's be honest, in our marriages, we fall in love for whatever reason, whether it's attraction or whether it's, whatever it is, we're in love. We fall in love, we get married. And if we're not intentional, that starts to dwindle. It starts to fade. You know, I've counseled with couples before, and they're like, I just don't feel in love, and we don't feel the love. And so we thought, well, let's talk about it. Like, what does that look like? What does that mean? And so we want to start by asking a question. And I want you to reflect on this. We're going to actually even ask you to share, ask some questions of your date. How do you send and receive love?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's super important because honestly, you might think that you're giving love to your date, but if you're just assuming, they might not be receiving it in the correct way.
Yeah, and we know what happens when you assume, right?
We do.
Awkward.
We do. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you send and receive love? And let me explain it this way. Husbands, you might be doing something to your wife, helping her out, or whatever, for your wife, not to your wife. That was a bad way to put it.
For your wife.
You might be doing something for your wife, or wives, you might be doing something for your husband that you think is sending this signal of love.
Yeah.
And your spouse isn't receiving it as love. It might even be irritating your spouse.
Yeah.
And the message is not getting sent. Let me give you an example. I was counseling with a couple one time, and this couple was, kind of in a bad shape, and the wife looked at the husband and said, "You don't love me anymore." Right? And the husband started getting angry, and he looked at his wife and he said, "What do you mean I don't love you anymore?" He said, "I unload the dishwasher every single night. I clean the kitchen. I do the dishes." And he started naming all of these things that in his mind, he was telling his wife that he loved her. And here's what she said to him. She looked at him and she said, "You need to know that I don't care about any of that. All I want you to do is come sit down on the couch with me and hold my hand and watch a show."
Yeah.
And this light bulb went off in the husband's head, and he went, "You mean I'm doing all of this and you're not translating it as love?"
And see, that was the danger, is he thought he was doing the right thing, but it was only frustrating her. And instead of her having the conversation with him, she was just living in this frustration, thinking that he didn't love her anymore.
And what's crazy is he's doing all of these things, and here's what's happening. And listen, this isn't wrong. He's doing what he wants to do to show love.
Yeah.
He's doing what comes easy to him. He's doing what he wants. And this can happen in marriages. We start doing something that is how we're wired.
Yeah. Or even what you think your spouse might want.
I mean, we assume all the time. We do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? I think she's going to love. Listen, here's the thing I learned about Missy a long time ago. Missy hates flowers. She doesn't like jewelry.
No.
Hallelujah, right? I don't have to go buy an expensive ring or flowers or anything like that. She's not even really a Valentine chocolate girl.
No.
You know what I've gotten for Missy sometimes for Valentine's? A pair of Nike sneakers.
Yeah. Perfect.
A dinner out, whatever. But I know that.
A little iPod shuffle when they first came out, the little iPod shuffle.
Yeah, I did. I got her a little iPod shuffle. But I know that about her. And here's what happens. Guys, it's a special occasion. It's Valentine's Day. And again, not to mean to pick on you guys, because ladies do the same thing. But guys, we'll go out and buy this giant flower spread and think, "Oh, my wife's going to love these." And she goes, "Oh, thanks." And it's not received as love. And we're meaning to send love, but it's not being received. And so you have to understand. So here's number one that we want you to do. Find out what love is from your date.
You know what's so funny is I feel like we will have conversations with everybody in the entire world, but when it comes to our date, we shy away from real honest conversations. And I don't know why that is, because there's nothing wrong. Like when we were kind of talking about doing this podcast, we were actually sitting in a little pizza place, and we asked each other, when do you feel the most loved by me? And I think even being married 30 years, it's okay to ask questions like that.
Well, it's important that you ask questions like that, because you might be frustrating yourself to death and go, "I don't understand why we're not connecting." And what you're doing over and over and over isn't being translated by your spouse as "I love you." And so the question you have to ask is, when do you feel the most loved by? What do I do that makes you feel the most loved? So answer that question. About me.
When do I feel the most loved about you?
By me.
I would say, this is going to sound a little bit cheesy, but sometimes we'll sit and watch a show and he'll rub my feet. But you know what? I work and I'm on my feet a lot on hard floors during the day. So when we're sitting watching a show and he's just rubbing my feet, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he probably doesn't think this, but I like to think it, that he is understanding that I worked hard and feels good.
And there are times that if I don't, she'll say, can you rub my feet for a minute? And rather than going, oh, I rub your feet every night. I mean, just it's a way that she is going to sit there and in her mind, she's going to think, he loves me. He wants to do something for me. Now, here's the deal. Missy never rubs my feet.
No, but when do you feel the most loved by me?
When do I feel the most loved by you? You know what? I feel the most loved by you when you celebrate accomplishments, when you thank me for doing things that I've done. And again, sometimes I'll be like, did you notice that I this, but you're really good about telling me, hey, thank you for making the bed, or wow, you did a great job on this, or that kind of thing. And again, what you have to understand, guys, is that men and women are wired different. They're different. The thing is she doesn't always have to hear from me, oh, good job, you did a good job on that. She likes to hear that. And I don't love necessarily just to have my feet rubbed. I really don't. But I know she likes that. And so what we have to understand is, rather than doing things that we like for our spouse, we have to do things that they're going to like.
That's right. And honestly, we have to remember too that it's not just about listening then, it's about doing that.
Yeah. So the deal is, when do you feel most loved by me, or what do I do that makes you feel the most loved? Then you have to listen to their answer, listen to what they're saying, and then you got to start doing more of that. You got to stop assuming or thinking you know what that is and ask them that question. Going to generate some good conversation.
It is. And absolutely. And honestly, just like, not men and women aren't the same. Like, not all women are the same.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, you can't just assume because, one woman might like flowers, or you see a commercial where a woman's like, oh, excited because she got a diamond necklace. You can't assume that's what your date's going to want. And honestly, conversations can also breed intimacy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why it's so important to have those conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you this. I mean, a trick I learned a long time ago, because I made a ton of mistakes with this. Listen when you're out with your wife. And if your wife goes, oh my gosh, I would love that, or oh, I should get that, or like, I remember one time we were at Target and Missy said something. She's like, oh, that purse, I would love that. And like, I literally just took a mental note, and then I literally jotted it down on my phone later. And then the next birthday, the next holiday, the next whatever, you talk about instant brownie points. It's like, oh yeah, I remembered 3 months ago when you said you loved that purse, and I just decided to go get it. And then all of a sudden you're like, what? You did what? But that's being intentional. It's knowing what is love to your date.
That's right.
To your spouse. So ask them that question. Find that out. If you don't know that answer, you need to know that answer, because that is going to what's allow you to show love. And because again, say you love them all the time, but if you don't show it, it means nothing.
That's right.
It really
and you know
doesn't.
what? You have to understand too that just because you're married or together for a long time doesn't mean you stop asking.
That's it.
Because number two is things are going to change. Seasons in life are going to change. As you get older, things are going to change. If you have young kids, old kids, new job.
Right.
So you have to keep asking and being intentional of asking those questions.
Right. That question 20 years ago for us would have been different than it is now. So you have to understand that things are going to change. We have to stay in tune with one another. We have to stay in communication, in tune with one another. We have to be willing to be flexible.
That's right.
Be flexible. Go with the flow. If it's changed, then it's changed. Find out what changed and then adjust. Figure out what you have to do to adjust. But the reality is if you don't do that, and unfortunately too many marriages are in this spot, you haven't done that, and then things get separated or things get distant, and then it's a lot of work to get back to where you need to be, and you don't put that work in, and then things go south. And we don't want that. That's not our goal. And listen, again, we've told you this before. We've had a ton of hangups. The only reason we even started doing this devotion is because we found ourselves at a place where we needed help.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, hey, let's just do a devotion together. We were like, we're going to do this or we're not going to make it.
Absolutely. And we were like, we got to try something. And so we committed to doing it. And so be flexible, go with the food, communicate. Just talk to one another. Hey, well, and even if, listen, you can very easily and again, very lovingly say, hey, I really appreciate that you're doing all of that, but I would really rather you do this. I would really rather, because again, you might be cleaning the house or doing the dishes or doing something, an act of service. One of the things we want to mention, you've probably heard about it, is the 5 Love Languages book. Great book. Again, we'll put a link to that in the description. It basically just says everybody has 5 love languages. And I don't remember what they are. And if I try to name them, I'm going to get them wrong. But like, it's acts of service and, words of affirmation. There's all different kinds of things. And you got to learn what that is with your spouse.
Yeah. And it's just like when you give a gift for Christmas or for a birthday. You want to give that person a gift because they're going to like it. Not because you like it necessarily.
Oh, I love this bike, so I'm going to get it for you.
Honestly, like in your relationship, that's how you need to think. I want to give my date this gift or this act of love because I know they like it and not that's what I want.
Yeah, and then that gift is more useful to them, not to you.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of getting a gift that you can't use or they don't even like?
Yeah, it's just frustration.
That's not the goal.
But you know what? I feel like at this point we need to give some practical tips. Because honestly, you
transition to practical tips.
You might be thinking, this is a little bit cheesy. Like, I've been married for 50 years. Why do I need to, write SHMILY under the toilet seat? I don't know. But one thing that we really want to encourage is buy a pack of Sharpies and buy a pack of Post-it notes.
That's
Never underestimate the power of a Post-it note. One thing that's really cool about SHMILY is it's not hard. It's not extravagant.
It's really not.
It's not expensive. You don't have to spend hours planning it. So that's your first step is go to Target and buy Sharpies and Post-it notes.
And here's what's cool. Again, we started reading this devotional in the early 2000s. Yeah. And again, if you come to our home now or you go into one of our vehicles, we have Post-it notes in all of those places.
He actually put Post-it notes for my birthday, and then for his birthday, I topped his Post-it notes with more Post-it notes.
Mine with more notes, and but they're still in our kitchen.
They're still there, and our birthdays are October and December.
Yeah, they're still hanging up on our cabinets. Yeah. They're still on our bathrooms. And again, you're like, oh, whatever. But it's so simple and it's so easy. Yeah. And it's one of those things that I'm telling you right now, there'll be a day you're having a frustrating day and you come home from work and on the headboard of your bed or on the drawer, you open up the sock drawer and there's a note or, whatever. And it just brings a smile to your face and lets you know that they are thinking about you and they want to show and say.
We actually had a friend that wrote SHMILY in a banana with a toothpick and it actually punctured the skin of the banana. So it turned black.
Yeah.
And so you saw the SHMILY. And also,
that's creative. Yeah. Like, why not?
And there's another couple that we know, and we did get their permission. But just a couple months ago, she had posted this. And I just want to read it really quick
because is really good.
This is really how it can affect people. Right, okay. Yep. So she says, I've been feeling super off lately, not myself. I know he notices, but it's not sure what to say. So today I came out of work and there was a sticky note on my steering wheel. It stands for See How Much I Love You. I was like a teenage girl who just got a text from her crush. I didn't know how much I needed that simple act. It was so simple, but it meant so much. Sometimes he's so sweet. And I don't know if you can see this, but she actually posted a picture and it just says SHMILY. That's all it said. It didn't say anything else.
SHMILY. See How Much I Love You.
But it made such a difference in her day. And I'm telling you, little things like that. You know what? When we dated, you did a lot of cheesy stuff to win me over. Yeah. And that's great. And probably when you went out with your date, when you wanted to win the affection of that person, you did whatever it took. So why stop? So why stop? Yeah. Why not still do cheesy little things?
Yeah, it's true. And listen, we haven't always done that. We don't listen. This isn't something we do every day either. Don't get us like, oh, every day we got 400 sticky notes. No. It's when it comes to mind. It's when something needs to be encouraged. It's when hey, I just want to show them a little bit of appreciation today. It's intentionality.
That's right.
It's intentionality, and again, it's so simple. It's so easy. A lot of times we think, well, I can't spend a ton of money and I can't plan. I don't have the time to plan. We're not talking about any of that. No. We're not saying spend a ton of money. We're talking about do something little, do something small to get started, and we promise. If you continue to do that, it's going to grow.
You don't even have to have Post-it notes. Get a banana and a toothpick.
It's going to go. Listen, get your deodorant and write it in the mirror.
Lipstick, anything.
I don't know. Like, be creative.
But you know what? It's a game, but it's fun.
It is fun.
And when you realize that, hey, my date is taking intentional time to play a game and to have fun, it really does make a difference in your day. It really does.
It does. It makes a big difference. So we're bringing SHMILY back.
We're bringing it back.
We encourage you now take the challenge, the SHMILY challenge.
That's right.
You're in the Celebrate Your Date challenge.
That's right. And so
now
keep
we're throwing
doing that.
out the SHMILY challenge.
And you know what? I think that if you do that this month, post on your social media and tag us. We would love to see. One thing that we have loved to see is people celebrating and people doing things. And, you know, we had a friend tag us that they went out to breakfast just because. They were celebrating just because they were together.
Yeah. So let's build a community. I mean, that's
right.
really why we started this thing, is to build a community of couples who are celebrating their date. And so, again, if you're doing the Celebrate Your Date challenge, awesome. If you're not signed up yet, go to celebrateyourdate.com. You can still sign up. And again, the concept is simple. The day of your anniversary, ours is the 8th.
Yep.
Take the 8th of every single month. If yours is the 15th or the 4th or the 12th, take that day every single month and just do something.
That's right.
Celebrate one another,
Yep.
celebrate your day, and incorporate SHMILY now.
That's
into
right.
your
It's
life.
awesome. And you know what? We've been using this word a lot. Just be intentional.
Yeah, it really is.
Be intentional. And that's okay. Sometimes people think, oh, I've been married this long, I shouldn't be intentional anymore. But you know what? The thing that makes love and relationships last is work and being intentional.
Yeah, it is. We work on so many different
do.
things in our lives. And when we don't put the work into our marriages, you're not going to get better. You're not going to grow by not working at
That's
it.
right.
And intentionality is our word. If you're not intentional, you're going to drift and you're going to get lazy. And next thing you know, you're going to go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
We're here to hopefully help a little bit with that. And we're bringing SHMILY back.
That's right. So thanks for joining us. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Man, 20 minutes goes by so fast.
I know, it really does.
It?
We
I
want
feel
to
like
keep it
could
at 20
talk forever.
minutes, so we're probably just a little bit over.
I know.
But again, go follow us on social media.
Yep.
Check out our website. Send us a line, hello@celebrateyourdate.com.
That's right.
We would love to know, like, what do you want to hear us talk
What do you wanna
about?
talk
What do you want
about?
to interact with? What would you like to see us bring up or talk about? Maybe you have a question. Listen, here's the deal. We didn't share who posted this, and if you want to ask a question to us, we won't share your name. We won't say who said it, but we'll try to do our best to answer. Maybe we have a little Q&A, but make sure that you do that because we just want to help.
That's
We're
right.
not here to say we're the experts at it. We're a couple who's been married for a few years, and we've learned and made a lot of mistakes, and we just want to help you out. So thanks for tuning in and
Thanks for
watching
tuning
today, listening
in.
today, and we'll see you next month.
Have a great day.
Bye.